begin with, I want to greet all the participants of the third International Scientific and Practical Conference of Students and Young Scientists, Educational, Cultural and Creative Practices in the context of Ukraine's integration into international scientific and innovative space. I sincerely hope that the discussion of the latest trends in education and art will be intense, wide-ranging, and useful for all the participants. By no means will it be an exaggeration to say that Ukraine is going through the hardest period in its history. The war in our country may be seen as the fierce and heroic struggle for the European values, namely freedom, dignity, and also for our national identity. In these troubled times, every citizen has to remain sane and sensible, ready to help those who are in need of your aid and assistance. Every one of us is going through the trials and tribulations of the new wartime reality. The aim is not only to gain our long-sought victory, but also to remain humane and tolerant in the face of enormous challenges. We should be ready to rebuild our cities and redesign our whole existence. It may sound pretentious, but I do believe that arts and humanities are ways of coping with the consequences of war and certainly the best options for preventing new wars. That's why in my speech, I want to call on the re-evaluation of the role of arts and humanities in higher education and say a few words in their defense. In the recent years, one might have observed a very obvious decline in the number of academic hours given for arts and humanities courses in the curricula of Ukrainian higher education institutions. We can't but admit that in our world of market economy, it is employability of graduates that matters. So it's little surprise that now this very employability has become the big goal of education. Present-day higher education is highly specialized and pragmatic. When money is distributed towards research, the final product of the investigation has to have the ability to sell and produce some income. So it may seem to be very clear why arts and humanities courses are more often than not subjected to attacks, and with each year occupy a lesser role in higher education overall. However, at this point, I want to stop and think about the essence of higher education. It is definitely more than simply the next level in someone's learning process. Besides providing high-level professional skills necessary to drive the economy, higher education also aims to form intelligent individuals with sophisticated taste and sufficient analytical capacities with proper understanding of art, which may influence ethical ideas and moral values. People who are endowed with these skills and abilities, or as educators would say, with these competences, become strongholds of civil society, role models and decision makers, responsible human beings who herald changes for the better future. At the Academy, I teach English, German, and methods of foreign language teaching, but in my scientific hypothesis, I am a literary scholar, to be more precise, a Shakespeare scholar. And further in my speech, I want to expand on the role of exposure to various forms of art for graduates of helping professions. Unfortunately, curricula of these specializations in the academy do not include culture studies as a separate course, but we have one option that must not be lost, and this is extracurricular work. In the course of this extracurricular work, the teaching staff can guide students through the world of art, exposing young people to diversity of opinions, diversity of styles, and social interactions. In the academy, we have established a readers club where students familiarize themselves with literary masterpieces and discuss them. We often take serious and unconventional novels that may pose a certain intellectual challenge for them. This encourages close reading and interpretation, open-mindedness, and curiosity. If students think a certain piece of writing is boring, it is okay to say that, but it is important to explain why they think so. When hosting our Readers Club meetings, I repeat as a mantra that there is no such thing as false interpretation, and you mustn't be afraid of voicing your opinion. Exposure to stories fills the experience gap, which you may need when dealing with people requiring help and expertise. You cannot solve the major problems in the world without understanding the central problem of human behavior, human culture, beliefs, and history. These are humanities questions, and being able to answer them means that you are open-minded and ready to accept new things, willing to learn throughout life. I should say that any kind of extracurricular club may provide myriads of points for discussion and thinking. And what could be a better way to form your taste, enrich your knowledge, and boost your thinking abilities as well as tolerance? If we exclude arts and humanities component from higher education institutions, it will downsize them to mere professional schools that provide educational services. But can this be our mission? In the world of fake news and conspiracy theories, we need something to cling to: critical thinking and analysis, creativity, originality and initiative, leadership and social influence, reasoning and problem solving. All of these skills, which will dominate the future, are perhaps best honed in the arts and humanities disciplines. And I would like to finish with the words of the American President Ronald Reagan. The humanities teach us who we are and what we can be. They lie at the very core of the culture of which we are a part, and they provide the foundation from which we may reach out to our cultures. Thank you very much for your attention.